Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be making something very special, which is garlic parmesan focaccia breadsticks. So excited. Alright, so let's get started with the ingredients. We'll go over, and again, they are going to be listed down below as well so you can follow along. And the measurements will also be listed on screen. So first up is some warm water. Then we have active dry yeast, some granulated sugar, some olive oil, extra virgin if you like it that way, Italian seasoning. What I do is I actually will take one of those 10-pound bags of garlic from Costco and I will peel them all and put them in a food processor. So I'm left with minced garlic, essentially 10 pounds of it. And I put it in a Ziploc bag, lay it out flat, put it in my freezer so that whenever I need minced garlic, I can just pull a little piece out, however much I need, and it's good to go. So this is my little minced garlic. We'll also be needing some salt, all-purpose flour. It's getting a little crowded up here. Some garlic powder, and last but definitely not least, some Parmigiano Reggiano. If all you have is Parmesan, then that's fine too. You don't have to get the expensive stuff. Alright, first things first, we're going to get ourselves a medium to large-ish bowl, and we're going to add our 1 cup of warm water to it. Now, you don't want the water to be too hot, or else it could kill the yeast. If it's too cold, the yeast won't bloom. So around 110 degrees Fahrenheit is the temperature that you want the water to be at. If it's not perfectly at 110, don't worry, it's not going to be the end of the world. Mine wasn't, and it still worked out. Next, we're going to be adding 1 teaspoon of the active dry yeast and 2 tablespoons of granulated sugar. I'm using a half a tablespoon here, so you're going to see me put in 4 of these, but altogether it's 2 tablespoons. And then we're just going to let it sit for about 5 minutes to allow the yeast to bloom. Next, we're going to take a small bowl and put in 1/3 cup of extra virgin olive oil. Next, we're going to add in 1 tablespoon of Italian seasoning. Again, I am using a half a tablespoon, so I will be putting 2 of these in, but in total, it is 1 tablespoon. Next, we're going to add in the minced garlic, which is 2 teaspoons. Honestly, with garlic, measure with your heart, but I roughly estimated about 2 teaspoons there. And lastly, we're going to add in half a teaspoon of salt and mix it all together. Alright, once that's all combined, we're going to set that aside and come back to our bowl of yeast. And we're going to add in half of this oil mixture. And set the rest aside for now. Then we're going to take 2.5 cups of all-purpose flour and add it to our yeast and oil mixture. And of course, mix it all up. And after it's all combined, your dough should look something like this. Focaccia is a pretty wet, sticky dough, so that's exactly what you want it to look like. Then we're going to take a larger sized bowl. Doesn't have to be too large, but larger than the one that you made the dough in, because it's going to expand and proof in this bowl, and it's going to need some more space. So we're just going to coat this bowl in olive oil so that the dough does not stick to it as it's proving, and it's a lot easier to get out once it's done proving. I also have a trick that I like to do, which is basically wiping down the bowl with a paper towel. It ensures that the whole bowl is coated in olive oil and all the excess gets soaked up into the paper towel. so that way I'm not just drowning my dough in olive oil. It's just bathing in it at the bottom. It's actually all around the bowl and gets evenly coated. So we're just going to plop this bad boy in here. You're going to cover it with either a clean towel, or if you have this bowl like me that comes with a lid, you can put the lid on it and just have it in a warm place to rest for 1 hour or until the dough has doubled in size. And as our dough is resting, we're going to set the oven to 450 degrees Fahrenheit and prep our pan. So I have a square pan in front of me, but you can use whatever size pan you want depending on how thick you want the breadsticks to be. A smaller pan is going to get you thicker breadsticks. So we're just going to pour in the rest of that olive oil and herb, garlicky, yummy mixture into the bottom of the pan. And if you've never had focaccia before, it's very oily. It's very oily bread, but it's so good. So once we got all that dumped in there, we're going to just spread it all around, make sure it's evenly coated with the garlic and the oil and the herbs and the yummy goodness. Alright, that looks good. So now let's take our dough and we're going to, ooh, look at that baby. Ugh. Look at her. She's glorious. Alright, we're going to take her and we're going to plop her in this pan. And again, it's still going to be sticky. Like I mentioned before, focaccia is just a sticky dough. So your hands are going to get messy, especially in this next part. So using your clean hands, I'm going to roll up my sleeves for this so I don't get any oil and whatnot on there. And you're going to press the dough into the pan. You want to push it into all 4 corners, get all of that goodness up in there, and create little dimples throughout the dough. I'm going to flip it around just so I can easily push into the other side. And you want these little dimples in there because these are going to be pockets of flavor. If you ever make a focaccia that is of a different flavor, say with dried tomatoes or any other kind of crazy things you want to add to this, those dimples are what's going to hold in all that good flavor. So make sure you make them deep and you make them often. Next, we're going to take 1 teaspoon of olive oil. Yes, we are adding more olive oil. I told you before, this is an oily bread. And we're going to add that to the top, along with half a teaspoon of salt and half a teaspoon of garlic powder. And with that, we're going to pop her into the oven for about 18 to 20 minutes or until golden brown and delicious. Y'all, look how amazing she looks! Oh, I'm so happy. Now, if you thought this was the end of the olive oil, you were wrong. We are adding more olive oil, of course, to the top of this. We are adding a full teaspoon of olive oil. I'm using half a teaspoon, which is why I'm doing it twice, but it's just another full teaspoon of olive oil. And a 1/4 cup of grated parmesan cheese. Again, the parmesan, measure with your heart, just like the garlic. So we're going to sprinkle that on top, let it cool down a little bit. If you want breadsticks, which I know I mentioned these were breadsticks, you can slice them down vertically and once horizontally to make about 8 breadsticks. Or if you're a carb fiend like me, you can just have it whole and eat a whole pan of focaccia if you want to. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe for more content like this. And if you liked it, give it a little thumbs up. If you end up trying this recipe, let me know in the comments below how it turned out, what you think, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!